Wall camera carrying crew members today would be nicknamed West Coast and Hollywood. There on the left, you get great Mark Hollywood Armstrong, front tire changer for Robbie Gordon. And on the right, Ryan McRae, the rear tire carrier for Paul Menard. The nickname is West Coast. 250 laps, 500 miles here. It is stop number 4 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. There is the pit road speed in that pit window here, 41 to 44 laps. Not a lot of banking here, guys.
Yeah, you see right there at 14 degrees makes it pretty slick. But right here, Dale, I'm looking at Denny Hamlin's taking this outside for the start. He has the option.
We saw this happen pretty much every restart yesterday. Only one time did we see somebody choose the inside, but let's see how this works out for him. We both think, I kind of believe that the inside might be the way. Denny Hamlin believes otherwise as we get ready to go racing.
The stars and cars of NASCAR taking center stage here in Southern California as the green flag waves. Already 3 wide coming off of turn 2. Very wide racetrack. We saw 3 and 4 wide racing here on Saturday in the nationwide race.
I think that run Denny Hamlin got off of turn 2 is exactly why he chose that. He's driving the car. That's why he chose that. He knows what was going to happen, but he could actually keep that inside car pinned down a little bit coming out of 2, but Denny's able to get the lead.
Johnson and Biffle side by side for second spot. Coming across, it will be Biffle who will just at Jimmy Johnson, is trying to make a move on the inside. Behind them is the 42 of Montoya.
You see Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. He's been fast here all weekend long. They would really like to get a win here today. Well, look at Montoya.
Yeah, he had an idea of trying to make it 3 wide on the outside of Biffle right there. Now he's just going to push him a lot and actually push him into the wall.
This is very aggressive for anybody to be racing this hard early in the race. That's bump drafting, and looks like Biffle may even got against the wall a little bit on the back stretch.
Oh, Montoya slips up a couple of car lengths here. The car sliding up the racetrack.
Yeah, we're going to see him utilize this entire racetrack, especially as this fog burns off a little bit more and we get some more sunshine on the racetrack.
See Montoya's teammate, the 1 car there, Martin Truex Jr. Got to believe they've got the same or very similar setups. He's very racy early on, trying to follow his partner. There's Truex looking back from Montoya as he tries to stay in front of him. Now Harvick will slide up in front of him.
Well, we saw Harvick yesterday in his nationwide car. He stayed committed to the bottom throughout the whole day. We have a lot of racing going on here. You see Tony Stewart making his way forward already.
3 chasers, Martin, Edwards, and Stewart, 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Whoa, look at Hornish get loose. He got the wall just a little bit there in the 77.
Now Jimmy Johnson looks downstairs to take the second spot away from Greg Biffle. Biffle may have qualified second, guys, but he really struggled with his car in happy hour in the final practice on Saturday.
Yeah, I spent some time with Greg Irwin, his crew chief, in the garage this morning, and they felt like the limited practice that they had here really had got them off a little bit because they thought they could run a similar setup that they ran at Kansas, and it just did not work out for them, and they were a little late getting off of it. Felt like they'd made some changes today, and they thought they would be pretty good, so we'll see how it works out for him.
Now sliding back into the throes of Juan Pablo Montoya. We mentioned Montoya is the only driver of the 12 chasers who has never had a top 10 finish at this racetrack.
And Andy, those things that you just talked about coming from Kansas, you would think that a lot of that would translate. The banking's about the same. There's not a lot of grip here. Use the same tire. You would have thought that, coming here with a race car setup kind of like that may be close. That's what drives a driver and crew chief kind of crazy in this business.
Well, that's kind of what Greg Irwin said. He said, we really felt that way, that very strongly. He said, actually, Wednesday we made a decision that we were going to stick with this setup from Kansas and work around it. And they finally did have to get off of it in happy hour. Oh, it looks like Harvick got up against the wall a little bit. Man, everybody's touching that wall coming off that corner.
31 car almost against it as he came by. There is Jimmy Johnson second. See the battle third and fourth. Now we talked about the ill-filling Kyle Busch in the 18 car and David Gilliland standing by to get in the car as soon as Kyle gets out.
Yeah, he's standing by. He's right behind him. All he's got to do is look in the mirror. He's right there. That's Gilliland in that 71.
Vince?
David Gilliland, and the plan for him was to get out after about 6 laps. Well, that's the next lap, so Gilliland would be out and free of his car in time for Kyle Busch to get out of his car. So the target is 6 laps for David Gilliland in the 71. That's what we're coming upon now, so we'll keep an eye on the 71 and Gilliland, whether he goes to the garage or they make the change here on pit lane.
We might explain, Vince, how this works. The 71 car, David Gilliland driving the car now. They did not have enough funding to run the whole race, so they're going to start the car, and then we're going to go to the garage area and try to be able to develop funding for future events. That's why Gilliland would be available to get in the 18 car.
Yeah, Dale, he might be staying out there a little bit just so he can see how that 18 car is handling, so he knows what to expect.
Yeah, he may be radioing in already and say, well, it's a little bit loose in this part of the racetrack. Go ahead and make these changes before I get there.
Here's your points leader, Mark Martin, the 5 car. Now he has been passed by the 99, Carl Edwards. And Edwards has now moved to 11th position. That's Mears behind him in the 07. Good run in a happy hour for the 07 of Casey Mears as they go by Allmendinger, and then Martin in the 5 car now back to 13.
Yeah, you see how they really use the draft. If they see a car that's a little bit faster, they'll jump in there and kind of piggyback with him and utilize the draft. It's not Daytona and Talladega drafting, but you do get a nice pull along there. Dave?
Of course, DJ Mark Martin, as patient as always. The car started out tight in the middle. That's hard to turn loose in and off. That means the back end comes around way too easy. Now, as he continues to peak on the inside of Allmendinger there, it is coming to him. The car is improving. Mark just being patient and trying to ride it out after losing spots early on.
Carl Edwards going all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack, exactly what you were talking about, DJ. And here's the 42 car using the inside groove. You talk about different grooves. There's about 3-lane separation between him and Biffle.
That's why these drivers enjoy this racetrack. If your car's not handling one particular spot, then you can find another. We'll see guys on the apron all the way to the very top.
It's a big old wide racetrack, but sometimes it's not wide enough.
Yeah.
You see Sam Hornish right here just a few laps ago. We saw him get loose. He's chasing this car way up the racetrack off the corner here on the front straightaway.
That's one Penske car. How about the other Penske car, the 2 car? Same spot, same result. Bounce it off the wall.
It looks like you need to be the guy behind because he doesn't have any problem. It's the one of those 2 that's in front that hits the wall.
Tightening up toward the front, Jimmy Johnson now beginning to move in on Denny Hamlin. Hamlin has led all 9 laps thus far after sitting on the pole.
I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anybody down on the pit road that Jimmy Johnson is coming to the forefront right here. He dominated this race last year.
Yeah, when I was talking to Alan Gustafson in the garage this morning, Mark Martin's crew chief, he told me he felt like the fastest cars in practice were the 11 and 42. He felt like the next one was probably Jimmy Johnson in 48. That was in happy hour. Things changed, though. Weather conditions right now are quite different than they were yesterday.
Jimmy
have a good cloud cover. I'm sorry, we got a good cloud cover right now that should burn off.
Anticipating a lot of sunshine today, but as of yet, it hasn't burned off. So
they're behind him if you need it.
Some of the guys who are set up for warmer weather are still struggling a little bit. Jimmy Johnson, not one of them, though, as he will go by and take the lead as they come down here on lap number 11. He dominated, leading 228 laps of 250 a year ago, and he becomes our 2nd leader here today.
Just my championship ride.